Hello, boys and girls. Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast here to make you another cocktail. This week's cocktail is the Eyed Stickman, and as always, is the featured cocktail in today's episode. I'm going to start with our shaker with ice. To that, we're going to add vodka, 1 1/4 ounces. Next, bourbon, 1 1/4 ounces. Lemon juice, 3/4 of an ounce. Jesus Christ. Can we just do even numbers, people? Saint Germain, 1/2 an ounce. That's more like it. And simple syrup, 1/4 an ounce. And then 1 dash bitters. And then we shake. We're going to strain it into our cocktail glass. Look at that, boys and girls. And there is a bunch of fancy garnish stuff too to make it like a stick man. Whatever. It's not bad. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the podcast. See ya.
Let's say you've just been assigned a school project to produce a documentary about an elusive witch in the woods. Just like this week's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast, the Blair Witch Project. Now imagine you have to take one of us with you, Greg or myself. Who do you choose? To plead my case, I'd say I would research the shit out of this, and I can write a good story, so we're definitely getting an A. Because let's face it, school is my thing. But you're going to need someone with tech experience and knowledge, and that definitely leans to Greg. And then there's the camping. And when that all goes to hell, you're going to need those pesky wilderness survival skills. So let's be honest, I want to get out alive. So at this point, even I'm picking Greg. Cheers.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Greg.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different yet highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
I am good. Thank you for asking.
It's what we do. It's kind of like I have to.
Well, it's expected now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Karen, was this week's film your choice?
It was.
And what film have you chosen to make us sick with this week?
I have chosen 1999's The Blair Witch Project.
Any reason you chose this film, Karen?
Well, if you're listening in order, this podcast will come out July 16th, and in 1999, The Blair Witch Project came out on July 14th.
Look at you.
I know, I'm turning into you.
And I'm trying to not. I'm trying to get away from me.
You're trying to be unprepared and all that, and so you're turning into me. There you go. Look at that. Well, at least you'll be delightful.
Well, one can only hope.
Yes, one can only hope.
Do we have a cocktail to go along with this film from way back in 1999?
We do.
And what would that be?
It's called the Eyed Stickman, a Blair Witch inspired cocktail.
Oh, look at that. I see what you did there, Karen.
It led me right along.
How are we going to make this concoction?
You're going to need 1¼ ounces of vodka, 1¼ ounces of bourbon, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of Saint Germain, and 1/4 ounce of simple syrup, 1 dash of aromatic bitters, and an orange peel and a cherry for garnish, which makes the whole drink. And I, of course, did not have those things. But,
yeah, I didn't either, Karen.
But that's what makes it the Stickman.
That is.
Combine all ingredients except the garnishes in a shaker. Shake, strain into a glass, and garnish with the orange peel and cherry. Now, this implies a dry shake without ice. But I put ice in mine.
I put ice in mine too. And I put ice in my glass because when I looked at the website, there is ice in the glass.
This doesn't say put ice anywhere. So
it doesn't even tell you what kind of glass to use, but on the website, it's got like a martini glass with ice in it. So that's what I used.
I always like ice in my drinks.
Did you look at the website? They have a YouTube video of them finding the black-eyed stick man out in the woods along a creek on a rock.
How awesome is that? We look lame compared to that. We should start adding videos.
Karen, I do a video every week.
No, but you don't go off into the woods and find inspiration.
No, I don't.
But you can see Greg make every drink on our YouTube channel.
I didn't make the first few, but my son suggested that, you should make the drinks on the YouTube channel. So then I started.
He's a smart little dude, isn't he?
Out of the mouths of babes, Karen.
Yes.
All right, should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own black-eyed stickman cocktail?
Let's do that.
Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
Karen, might you have a brief synopsis for us?
I do.
Go on. Tell us all the story.
Found video footage tells the tale of 3 film students, Heather, Josh, and Michael, who've traveled to a small town to collect documentary footage about the Blair Witch, a legendary local murderer. Over the course of several days, the students interview townspeople and gather clues to support the tale's veracity. But the project takes a frightening turn when the students lose their way in the woods and begin hearing horrific noises.
Thank you, Karen. We are a match. Karen, tell us everything you really enjoyed about this film. Did you see this way, way back in 1999 in the theater?
I did. I was in Baltimore and went with friends in Baltimore. So I do remember
so you were in Maryland where this was filmed.
Yes.
Even
I thought you were going to go, ooh, you had friends.
Well, I wasn't.
Well, both of those are true back in the day. So I think this film divides people. I think people either really like it or really don't like it. I liked it, especially when I saw it the first time. And I think I liked it a little bit better then, not because it didn't age well or anything. There's nothing in it that particularly ages it, but I think I was closer to the age of the participants. So I think I could see myself kind of doing what they were doing. Now I'm like, I wouldn't do that shit. I would turn around and go back to the bar right now. Like there's a couple times where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think I would have volunteered to do that. The way they film it, there's some realism, I think. They don't all get along great all the time. They do have personality conflicts, which would happen, especially if you were afraid. They don't do the thing that I don't like very much where people are in this intense situation and they're very scared and they start making jokes. Like it seems like it has a realistic they joke after, but not during the scary parts of it, or what you would consider scary. I think it is filmed very documentary like. They do interview the town, they do all the things, interview the townspeople, kind of talk about the story. If you've ever watched, this must be the precursor for every ghost adventure type TV show that's on now because there's a lot of what the fuck was that? And then they run off and you don't see anything, but they act like they're terrified. It just made me laugh because there's a lot of darkness. You don't see a lot of things. It's a testament to marketing, too, this film. And I think this might have been the first film that was marketed that way because you didn't know back in the day whether it was real or not real. And you kind of thought the legend was real. So they created this whole backstory. Like they must have hired people to market the film and make the film seem realistic and put up websites and all that stuff. Because if you searched for things, you could find the legend online. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's pretty much all I have. Did you like anything about it?
I liked a great deal about it, actually.
Oh, well, good.
I liked that it was set during Halloween, so I saw lots of Halloween direct decorations.
It's true. If you're going to look for a witch, that's the best time.
Next thing I wrote, it's got good acting. They're good actors. And it's mainly improv. They just
Is
told
it?
these kids, I was just reading about it, they would like hide something for them to find. They would tell them where to look for it, and that would be what they would film that day.
Hmm.
So, and they did a good job. And they auditioned a bunch of people, right? But still, as you were talking, I wrote this is probably the found footage OG.
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah.
Probably is.
It's really a brilliant idea,
It is.
and it's extremely low
Made by a
budget.
bunch of
Yeah.
college kids.
It's very creative to think about sitting around and saying, I bet we could make a really frightening horror film if we just did this.
Yeah, they're like, hey, I've been watching these documentaries on paranormal,
Right.
paranormal activity. What if we like incorporated that into a horror film? So, and but again, back to what you said, it's probably the viral marketing OG as well.
Yes, before that was a thing.
When it went to the Sundance Film Festival, that's where it premiered at midnight, by the way. And they listed the actors as either missing or deceased. And the actors' names are the same names as they are in the film,
I
right?
wondered that. Yeah. I I didn't mention too.
I remember back in way back, Karen. I remember way back in 1999. Like people were like wondering, like, is this a thing? Is this real? Is this a real thing? It was very effective. I never saw it in the theater, unlike you.
The ending is very ambiguous, and there's discussion of what people think happened at the end. And I kind of like that about it too, that we don't really know.
I don't even care. It just happens, and that's it.
Well, but there are strong fan theories and stuff. So it kept people
Well,
talking
you go, fans.
even after the film, even after you watched it. So it kind of kept it all alive. There is sequel potential. I vaguely remember there might have been a sequel, but I don't think it was very good.
Yeah, there were two sequels.
Oh, well, it definitely has sequel potential.
But neither one of them did near as well as this did. But I remember back in 1999, it was a thing, Karen, which made me like not want to go see it because I never go see movies which are things. Just something I do because I'm always afraid I'm always assume I'm just going to be let down because it's not going to be what everyone says it is.
Well, and I think that might be the difference of watching it now versus watching it then, too, because then in 1999, you were unsure if it was real or not real. In 2025, we know it's not. We know it was marketed. We know it was made, so it's a different experience, I think, having those two different,
Those 2 decades.
well, just the viewing of it, not knowing and thinking. And again, being, like I said, being more that age and thinking, wow, I probably would have done that. I would have gone in the woods. I don't
Well,
know.
I definitely would, Karen.
Yeah, I'm not a camper. I know you're a camper.
And I would have found my way out. I'm just saying.
Well, I think that, but that was part of the paranormal voodooism. You couldn't find
Yeah,
your way out.
but follow the sun, Karen. You can use the sun as a compass. You don't have to use a magnetic
No, but
compass.
I know, but I think that was just part of it, is that you couldn't get out. The witch wasn't letting you out. I still liked it. I still thought it was intense. I think there's something to not being able to see what's going on and hearing noises and
Yeah,
all
it's
that.
all
It's
implied and
freaky,
yeah.
especially in the woods when you're inside the tent. I have camped. I'm not a total newbie, but hearing voices
Have
or
you
movement.
camped or glamped, Karen?
No, I've camped.
All
I've
right.
camped in the Black Hills and in the Florida Keys.
Wow.
It's just dangerous for me because everybody laughs at me because I'm alert.
Well, it's dangerous for everybody, Karen.
Well, but I'm
If you don't know what you're doing,
very allergic to bees, and I always felt like if we're hiking 10 miles and we're 5 miles out and I get stung, somebody's going to try to drag me back 5 miles. It's never going to work. I'm going to die.
you don't have an
So I never,
EpiPen.
yeah, but that doesn't always work. And someone would still have to drag me down. So I don't know. So camping loses a little of its shine for me, but I've done it.
Yeah, it
Not
kind
as
of
much
took
as
me
you.
back. It kind of took me back to
Yeah,
the day, Karen.
I'm sure.
I used to go hike back into the Red River Gorge a couple miles. All right, let's make camp here.
Smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, yes, yes, cigarettes. That's what we were smoking.
Trying to help you out.
We had plenty of coolers though, which they don't, which I'm one of my disappointments. All right, anything you did not enjoy, Karen?
It's a rough watch if you get motion sick. I will say in the theater on the big screen, it got to me a little bit. Watching it again now on a much smaller screen didn't bother me near as much. But when I was looking up at the screen, it was rough for me back then. I mean, I guess I did like the ending, but I didn't like the ending. So I don't know. I can't comment very much on the camping, but they seem to, they had the old tent that you had all, they don't have the one that you pop up. They have the one where you have to put the poles in and all that stuff. And, there's not much I really didn't like about it. I think it was good and it was original for the I think it seems less original now, but it was very original for the time. It's a testament to planned out marketing. They've spent probably as much on the film as they did marketing it, I would guess. Probably not because but still,
Maybe. I mean, it
they
didn't
spent a
cost.
lot
They
of
didn't.
follow up
They didn't
on it.
spend a lot to make it.
What didn't you like about it?
First thing I wrote it. It's boring, Karen.
It's slow.
It
I
is.
wouldn't say it's
And
boring,
later
but
I wrote it's a slow burn. I
yeah.
changed my phrasing later. Karen, I cannot imagine anyone not getting sick watching this film. I watched it on the small screen, my little, whatever it is, 15-inch laptop screen here. And yeah, I had to
It-
stop watching. I just stopped watching and just listening. And then when I was done watching it, I went to bed and asked my wife, my gift of a wife, I was like, "Hey, you ever seen the Blair Witch Project?" And she says, "Yeah." And I said, "Did you get motion sick?" And she says, "Oh yeah." because she saw it in the theater too, as
Yeah,
well.
it's a tough watch.
It's a tough watch, period, I would say.
Yeah, I didn't think you got motion sick. I felt a little bad about that.
I don't normally.
I do.
So, but this triggered me, apparently. It could have been all the thirsty work I'd done during the day, too.
That's gonna contribute a bit, I think.
That's all I wrote. But what I didn't like, I think it's really good, actually. It's
It holds
effective.
it holds up, I think. If you don't, I think if you saw it,
Yeah,
because
if
it
you show this to
was
like a 12-year-old kid who knew nothing about it,
right.
they'd be scared shitless.
They wouldn't go camping, that's for sure.
Good. Stay away from my campsite.
I think it was such a thing, as you mentioned, that it's ruined for a certain generation of kids, but my kids could have no idea. That's all. They wouldn't know anything. They could watch it with a clean slate, and I think it would be effective. I think it's still effective even if you don't know, but there's that extra hook that they put in it of you kind of thought it was real. Like they had
Yeah, you
actually
did.
found this footage and then they put it all.
But really, you knew it wasn't. You knew it was a thing. It was a whole like Hollywood thing. Even
I
like
don't
that's
know.
why the first thing I thought when this thing came out and everyone was talking about, "Ooh, this is real." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's Hollywood."
Well,
But it's ingenious regardless.
people will suspend their beliefs for certain things, for sure.
Anything else you didn't like?
No, I thought it was good. Like you said, I think the acting's good. I think each of the characters has flaws and shows that and there's realism to it. They did a really good job.
Part of what I like about it is that it's all found footage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Nobody comes in and
And
then
then yeah, there's no narrator or anything like
yeah.
that. And
And the story still has a start, a middle, and an end with the found footage. They don't have to supplement anything. They did a great job of no one comes in at the end and says anything. No one says anything at the beginning. It's just start to finish, like you said. And it's effective. You get pretty much a full story of their adventure of doing this.
yeah, they recorded it. They shot 20 hours of footage and then they edited it down to 82 minutes. That's that's a monumental task right there, I think.
Well, you would know from editing the
I
podcast.
was surprised they had so many hours of footage. But yeah, it is what it
Well, they
is.
probably filmed everything. So there's probably a
I'm
lot
sure they
of
did.
walking in the woods.
And
There's a
the
lot of
actors were
walking in the
filming. There
woods.
was no film
Yeah.
crew. The actors were filming each other for 20 hours. So, so it's well edited. That's what I will say. Another thing I liked, I guess. All right, Karen, do you have a cocktail rating now ready for us?
I'm torn. Okay. Because as a movie, I think it's a 3 because it's good and I like it, it's a solid high 3. But for what it is and how groundbreaking and different and intriguing it was at the time, I think it might be a 2.
Karen, what is your final answer?
I'll give it a 2. What do you think?
I'll go along. I'll give it a 2. It is the found footage OG. It started a whole genre, I believe. So there have been many
Well, I think it did that, and not to
copycats.
harp on it, but I think the marketing was followed too,
Oh,
you
for
know?
sure.
So I think they just set
Not
so
just by
many
horror films.
standards. Yeah. It's a little sometimes easier with horror films to do that mystery kind of thing. But yeah, it's just,
But I remember when The Dark Knight came out, they had a whole like viral marketing thing. And oh my God, I was totally in, Karen. Oh my God, I was searching for stuff at bowling alleys and whatnot. I am actually my photo. I am in one of the photos from the viral marketing because I went to a mall here locally and they were handing out Harvey Dent t-shirts and I was there. I was at work, but like, I gotta go. I'm going to lunch.
at the mall.
Well, as you do.
Well, as you used to. I don't know now, but no, I think the movie holds up. still to this day. And if you watched it without knowing everything that they did and created, I think you could still buy into it a little bit.
I agree. Like your kids, they would be terrified by this film. I'm sure. All right, so 2 cocktails. That means it only took us 2 cocktails to get through it. And really, it's only a 1 cocktail drink because if you have more than one, you're going to get sick.
You're going to finish it the next day. Yes, because Greg, when he does thirsty work, only has 1 cocktail. So we know.
Yeah, 1 cocktail.
True.
I have lots of other hydration. And I do have water. You know,
Mix it in there.
I mix it up. All right, Karen, would you like to hear a review from the time?
Tell me Roger reviewed it.
First, I have to tell you, this is a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It has an 86% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think Google users say, Karen?
See, that's hard because, like I said, it's usually a split. Like people really like this, but it gets a lot of 5 stars and it gets a lot of 1 stars because some people just don't like it. I'll say 82%.
Pretty close. 79.
Oh,
The review I have is from July 16th, 1999. It's from a film critic named Roger Ebert.
no, I think I've heard of him.
And it's, I don't know, a page and a half, but I read it and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to read the whole thing. I can't cut any of it out. We're instinctively afraid of natural things, snakes, barking dogs, the dark, but have to be taught to fear walking into traffic or touching an electrical wire. Horror films that tap into our hardwired instinctive fears probe a deeper place than movies with more sophisticated threats. A villain is only an actor, but a shark is more than a shark.
Yes.
The Blair Witch Project, an extraordinarily effective horror film, knows this and uses it. It has no fancy special effects or digital monsters, but its characters get lost in the woods, hear noises in the night, and find disturbing stick figures hanging from trees. One of them discovers slime on his backpack. Because their imaginations have been inflamed by talk of witches, hermits, and child murderers in the forest, because their food is running out and their smokes are gone, damn,
Well,
they they and we are a lot more scared than if they were merely being chased by some guy in a ski mask. The movie is like a celebration of rock bottom production values of how it doesn't take bells and whistles to scare us. It's presented in the form of a documentary. We learn from the opening titles that in 1994, 3 young filmmakers went into a wooded area in search of a legendary witch. Quote, a year later, their footage was found, unquote. The film's style and even its production strategy enhance the illusion that it's a real documentary. The characters have the same names of the actors. All the footage in the film was shot by 2 cameras, a color video camcorder operated by the director, Heather, and a 16mm black and white camera operated by the cameraman, Josh. Mike does the sound. All 3 carry backpacks and are prepared for 2 or 3 nights of sleeping in tents in the woods. It doesn't work out that way. The buried structure of the film, which was written and directed by Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Myrick, is insidious in the way it introduces information without seeming to. Heather and her crew arrive in the small town of Burkittsville, formerly Blair, and interview locals. Many have vaguely heard of the Blair Witch and other ominous legends. One says, I think I saw a documentary on the Discovery Channel or something. We hear that children have been killed in the woods, that bodies had disappeared, that strange things happened at Coffin Rock. But the movie wisely doesn't present this information as if it can be trusted. It's gossip, legend, and lore passed along half-jokingly by local people, and Heather, Josh, and Mike view it as good footage, not a warning. That's actually a good point by Roger. Once they get into the woods, the situation gradually turns ominous. They walk in circles, something happens to their map. Nature itself begins to seem oppressive and dead. They find ominous signs, bundles of twigs, unsettling stick figures. These crude objects are scarier than more elaborate effects. They look like they were created by a being who haunts the woods, not by someone playing a practical joke. Much has been said about the realistic cinematography, how every shot looks like it was taken by a handheld camera in the woods. And he writes, as it was, in parentheses. But the visuals are not just a technique. By shooting in a chill season, by dampening the color palette, the movie makes the woods look unfriendly and desolate. Nature is seen as a hiding place for dread secrets. That's another good point. As fear and desperation grow, the personalities of the characters emerge. Quote, we agreed to a scout out project, unquote, one guy exclaims. The other says, quote, Heather, this is not so cool, unquote. Heather keeps up an optimistic front. The woods are not large enough to get lost in, she argues, because, quote, this is America. We've destroyed most of our natural resources, unquote. Eventually, her brave attitude disintegrates into a remarkable shot in which she films her own apology. In parentheses, he writes, I was reminded of explorer Robert Scott's notebook entries as he froze to death in Antarctica. At a time when digital techniques can show us almost anything, and he said this in 1999, the Blair Witch Project is a reminder that what really scares us is the stuff we can't see. The noise in the dark is almost always scarier than what makes the noise in the dark. Any kid can tell you that. Not that he believes it at the time.
He made good points.
Lots of good points.
Yeah, I think he liked it too.
Look at Roger go.
That's why he's the best.
All right, Karen, are you ready to get into it scene by scene? Or first, should I tell you what I've chosen for next week's film?
Let's do that. What have you chosen for next week's film?
I'm a little conflicted by this choice, Karen, but I'm going to do it anyway because, what the hell? Film I have chosen is a film called The Black Cauldron from 1985.
Oh, interesting. Why did you choose that?
Well, it's a Disney film, for one thing.
And when people think of Greg, they think of Disney films.
Well, yeah.
Have you seen it before? What is it? I don't even know what it is.
No, I haven't seen it. I knew of it.
Was it in the theaters or was it a TV movie?
It was. It was in the theaters in 1985. And the reason I chose this is because next episode comes out July 23rd, which happens to be my son's birthday. And The Black Cauldron came out on July 24th, 1985.
Oh, I thought you were just picking movies you wanted to see.
I was. When they were
sucked you back in.
We've done all the Christopher Lee ones by now, though, so I'm not forcing myself to do Hammer Christopher Lee films. Still have a lot of Hammer films to go, though. Well, not a lot, quite a few.
All right. Do you have a drink to go along with this
I do,
cartoon?
I do, Karen. Boy, it has a horned god in it, Karen. That should be enough right there.
Disney probably put out a drink that goes with it.
No, this is not a Disney created
It's not
drink.
a Disney drink.
But they probably did. If not, they should. The drink I have is called the Cauldron Cocktail.
All right.
This Cauldron Cocktail is the perfect Halloween drink. It's hauntingly fun, tasty, and easy to make, Karen.
Ooh. Does it have dry ice?
It's optional, Karen. It's optional.
Ah, there you go.
We're going to need 2 ounces of rum. They say Bacardi rum, but they're not sponsoring us, so you do what you want. 1 Sprite mini can. You have to use Sprite, though. A little 7.5 ounce. 3 ounces of cranberry juice. Black food gel. Dry ice with an asterisk, which means optional. And sugar sprinkles.
Sugar sprinkles? Are we rimming the glass?
We're going to swipe the rim of our glass with a little Sprite. Then we're going to dip the glass into sprinkles. Then in the glass, we're going to add rum, cranberry juice, Sprite, and a little black food gel. And then we stir. Then using tongs, important boys and girls, using tongs, place a small piece of dry ice in the glass because you don't want to touch that. And then we enjoy. And then it says, it is very important that you wait until the dry ice has completely dissolved before you drink your cocktail. Well, that's just annoying. You do not want to ingest the dry ice.
You
Dry
do
ice will
not.
burn you, so either use gloves or tongs to place it in your drink.
It'll burn your throat the whole way down.
You'll burn from the inside out, boys and girls. So there we go. The cauldron cocktail, Halloween drink.
Sounds fun.
Does sound fun. I wish I had an endless supply of dry ice because we have lots of drinks that say optional dry ice. I have had dry ice cocktail. Have you ever had a dry ice cocktail?
Well, yeah, I was in graduate school where dry ice was readily available. What do you think?
All right, good. We used to have Halloween parties and have dry ice cocktails.
We used to
Actually,
just,
we ended up calling the gin and tonic a toxic avenger. Gin and tonic and dry ice, it's a toxic avenger. That's what we
nice.
called it. There you
We
go.
used to just dip things in the dry ice bath and then shatter them on the floor. Good times. Greg and I are both so excited that you're listening to the Scary Spirits podcast, and we would love to hear from you. Do you have a movie suggestion for us? Or possibly a favorite drink you'd like us to try? Or maybe you just want to say hi. If so, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the show.
All right, are you ready to get into it scene by scene?
Let's do that.
My black-eyed stickman has evaporated.
Already. You're ready to get into it.
Only 38 minutes took that drink to evaporate. The Blair Witch Project from 1999. Rated R. Flashing lights, violence, alcohol use, smoking. Flashing lights and strobing patterns may affect photosensitive viewers. Am I a photosensitive viewer? Is that what I'm learning from this? I don't think I'm photosensitive. I think I'm
No.
motion sensitive.
Yes. I'm surprised that's not a warning.
Yeah. Flashing lights didn't bother me a bit. We have credits. Then we have words to read. As Roger already said in his review, in October of 1994, 3 student filmmakers disappeared in the woods near Burkittsville, Maryland, while shooting a documentary. A year later, their footage was found. And immediately I think, there were no bones or remains found, didn't find anything else, just cameras, footage.
The witch is efficient. So, in case anyone's interested, Burkittsville is a real place. And the Blair Witch is not real. It's a fictional legend created for the movie. And at first, the town was pissed because people were coming from all over and just stalking their cemetery. They weren't prepared for it. I don't think they knew that it was coming out. Now,
They couldn't have.
right,
No one
now,
could have foreseen that it was going to be a thing.
now they embrace it, of course, because, cash dollars. But in the beginning, the mayor was not happy, but they've learned over time to accept and promote it, actually.
Well,
But it
they
is a
should.
real place.
And I wrote home video, going out into the woods. They have books with research. And I wrote, a guy arrives in a Plymouth. I think that's Josh. Comes to pick up Heather in his Plymouth.
Yeah, they seem to know each other. I think Josh knows both people. Heather knows Josh, and Mike knows Josh.
So then they're shooting each other. I wrote, they go pick up Mike, and they're driving out to the country. And then they stop and collect supplies at a grocery store, I guess.
So here's something and it's very small in the movie, but it's effective too because it comes up much later. When Mike, they call him Mikey, because they know each other, but Mike is leaving the house. As he's going out the door, he just yells back into the house, "Bye, Mom."
And Heather makes a remark like, are we going to meet your mom, Mikey? Or whatever.
But it's just one of those, because of course, that's what you do. That's what my kids do. That's what I did when I was leaving the house. You just, bye, Mom. You never think it's going to be the last time that's going to happen.
Don't you?
Sometimes when you're worried in the middle of the night. But I'm just saying it was a very simple thing, a very normal
Well, I think that's why
thing
you
to
say it,
do.
because, none of us are promised tomorrow, Karen.
It was just one of those very touching thing
But
as a
young
parent.
kids don't understand that. But yeah.
But yeah, they're in the grocery store picking up supplies.
Then we cut to them talking to a waitress in a restaurant about the Blair Witch. And I wrote, she looks familiar. And I looked her up and she wasn't who I thought she was. So, like, I thought there was an actual actress in this, but I don't think there is, like a known actress. They arrive at Burkittsville. Heather narrates they are in a cemetery and lots of young children are buried in the 1940s. They begin interviewing the townsfolk about the Blair Witch.
And I think one of the cameras films in color and the other one films in black and white.
Yes.
So we do go back and forth depending on which camera is being used, which is also kind of cool.
And we learn about Rustin Parr, who was apparently they found 7 bodies in his house.
So I looked that up because I couldn't understand. I'm like, aren't we talking about the Blair Witch? Because they kept saying she, and then they mentioned this Rustin Parr, who's the hermit who killed the kids. And I'm thinking, wait
Which
a
is an
minute.
acronym for Rasputin.
Oh, okay. Did not know that. Did you do that on your own?
No,
Oh,
it's on the Wikipedia page, Karen. They used lots of acronyms
so,
for
oh, okay. That makes sense.
other figures.
Rustin Parr is a separate entity from the Blair Witch herself. He's the man who confessed to murdering 7 children in the forest near Burkittsville, Maryland in the 1940s, claiming that an old woman ghost made him do it. We don't hear any of that. That's backstory that they've somehow put in. But I was just a little confused at first. I didn't understand. They knew he had killed the kids, but then it was like, well, I thought we were looking for a woman. So that's how they explain it. Anyway.
And then we have talk of Mary Brown, a crazy lady. And then they interview Mary Brown, right? That's who they interview here, Mary Brown, holding a Bible.
Yes.
And she talks about seeing a woman covered in fur. And I wrote, Mary's a little nuts.
Yeah,
Even though I've already wrote she's a crazy lady.
she's got a rosary around her neck, which I did after I watched, what was that vampire thing?
Interview with the Vampire.
No, it was the one, oh my God, with David Soul.
Dracula, Prince of Darkness.
It was it was on TV. Salem's Lot.
Salem's
After I
Lot.
watched Salem's Lot, I wore a rosary around my neck.
Well, we have to do that then.
But I just thought, I noticed she had a rosary around her neck. But
I did not notice.
she's in a mobile home park.
Can't miss the Bible, though.
She's got a Bible, and she's talking about when she went out with her dad fishing. That's what she's telling him about.
Then we cut to them, all the kids in the motel, and they're sharing beers. And then they do shots, Karen. Next day, interviewing more townsfolk, fishermen. One of them talks about Robin Weaver from the 1800s. She disappeared for 3 days. When she came back, she talked about an old woman whose feet never touched the ground. Then they're driving through the woods. Stop.
Well, they're on a road.
Well, yeah.
But it's surrounded by woods.
Put on their backpacks and start hiking into the woods.
Yeah, they just kind of randomly park on the side of the road.
They look well equipped, though. Those backpacks are impressive.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Well, they thought they did.
Well, they have adequate supplies for 2 days, I
think
would say.
so. You don't have a cooler, though, with beers. Heather reads a book about Coffin Rock, 5 men killed. They were all gutted, and then their bodies mysteriously disappeared. They make camp in the rain. It rains a lot there, too, apparently. Next morning, they all talk about hearing noises, including cackling, like a witch, Karen. Then we see a topographical map, Karen. Heather knows what she says what she is doing. She knows how to read a topographical map. Then we cut. This is it's very choppy because it's all found footage as well, right? So then we cut to Heather using the bathroom because they have to get that in there somewhere. So then next, Michael accuses Heather of being lost. They argue. I mean, it's already starting. I'm only 1 page in, and they're already arguing.
They argue a lot, and she insists she's not lost a lot. She's supposed to be.
I guess it's because Michael is kind of the outsider dude, right? So Michael and Heather argue a lot because Josh and Heather know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and apparently she was lost. She keeps insisting she's not lost. She knows what's going on. It's as you do when you're hiking for a long time in the rain and carrying a big backpack
I
and
think
someone
that
keeps,
Michael wants to be the alpha male. That's what I think. But
but she won't admit they're lost. She keeps saying, like, it's only 30 minutes away. Then it's 90 minutes away. Then it's 2.5 hours away. She keeps changing what she's saying.
Joshua believes he can read a map, and they're headed to a cemetery. They arrive at a bunch of pile of rocks, and then they try to remember what Mary Brown said about it, and there's 7 piles.
Well, wait, they did cross a creek on a fallen log.
Yeah, for the first time.
Yeah. Well, that tree becomes important later.
I think we see that tree like 3 or 4 more times.
Yes. But yes, they come up to when they cross the river on the tree, which takes some time because,
It's a stream. It's not a river.
Okay, but it's a pretty big stream. If you have camera equipment, trust me, a stream may as well be a river. You don't want that shit to fall in there.
You can wade. It ain't gonna kill you. It's not deep. All right, that night at camp, I wrote Gilligan's Island. They start singing Gilligan's Island.
Well, they start talking about Gilligan's Island, and because they call. So wait, I made you kind of skip because we started arguing. You could see how Greg and I would be on a camping trip together. We started arguing about the fallen tree, but they did end up
in the middle of the woods, Karen. Who would win the argument?
Oh, you.
Well, there you go.
But they come up and they start filming piles of rocks. We kind of skipped over that because we started talking about the stream. And you mentioned it. Yes, but she makes a big deal of filming the rocks. And then they make
she's
camp.
Probably, I would call her the filmmaker of the group. This is her project, I feel like.
I think it is her project. But they do talk about they call someone the captain or whatever. So they bring up Gilligan's Island. And Gilligan's Island had, well, can you guess how many episodes do you think Gilligan's Island had?
Oh my God.
This used to be on after school for us when we would get home from school.
48?
98
shit.
Plus a pilot. So its first episode date was September 26, 1964. Sherwood Schwartz was the creator. And the final episode was April 17th, 1967.
So from when to when?
September 64 to April 67.
So 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I was thinking. It's probably 4 years. So I was doing 48, like 12 episodes a year or something.
So in case someone out there doesn't know that 7 people set sail on what is scheduled to be a 3-hour tour.
A 3-hour tour.
On a charter boat known as
the USS Minnow.
Yep. Get caught in a storm and end up stranded on an uncharted tropical island together. The comedy comes from the failed attempts at escaping.
Uncharted, deserted island.
Yes.
Except for the Japanese warrior who doesn't know World War II is over, but go on.
The interaction of the very diverse group comprised of a rotund but happy-go-lucky skipper,
Alan Hale,
his bumbling but well-meaning first mate Gilligan,
Bob Denver,
a snobby well-to-do millionaire, and his wife, Lovey, a buxom, sexy movie star bombshell Ginger, a high school science professor, Ron Hinckley, called the professor, and a nice country girl, Marianne. Viewers of the series would be correct to ponder the impossible number of guests who visited the islands, the incredible versatility of the common coconut, and the fact that the castaways somehow managed to win the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. We used to watch it as a kid.
Oh, Don Wells.
As kids.
Sorry, Don Wells. And Tina Louise. How could I remember? How could I forget Tina Louise? And Russell Johnson. And Jim Backus. I didn't have to look that up. It just hit me. Jim Backus is Thurston Howell the third, Karen.
Yes.
I'm sure I've seen every episode.
They kept saying it was the captain and then the one guy. After they've been fighting, it kind of breaks the tension. He goes, he calls them TV idiots or something because it's the skipper. And then they all kind of relax a little bit, laugh, and go to sleep.
So then they knock over one of the pile of rocks.
Josh does
I'm
on
thinking
purpose
that's probably not good. I'm just saying.
because they go back to film the rocks again just to make sure they got it. Josh knocks one over and Heather puts it back together and she kisses it. Said because she says you never know, it might be an Indian burial ground or something, and she's just being safe.
That night they hear noises in the woods, sticks snapping. I wrote, like something's walking in the woods.
Yeah, I think it's raining again too.
Yep. Next day, raining. They discuss the sounds they heard the previous night. Michael believes people were messing with them. And then I wrote, they begin walking back to the car, question mark. But they go back a different way for some stupid reason.
But they argue again.
They
Heather
have a
keeps
trail. They came in one way. Why don't you just go back the same way?
She says
Whatever.
she knows where they're going. It's 2 hours max. The boys aren't
Whatever.
convinced.
Stupid does what stupid does.
And they do a map check.
Heather uses her compass to try to find the way back to the car.
Mike is starting to lose it. And I wrote, that would be me. I'd be Mike. Because he's just like, I just want to leave. Let's just get out of here.
Yeah, Heather wants to make camp because it's getting late. Mike is freaking out. They camp for the night, but Mike needs to be back at work the next day. I got to be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
They've rented all this equipment that has to be back, so they're starting to freak out a little bit more.
They hear noises, logs, and again, branches breaking. They think it's a deer. They wake up and find 3 piles of rocks next morning, I guess. Michael wants to hurry up and get back to the car. He is over it, I wrote. And then we learn that Heather has lost the topographical map, Karen.
Well, she had it, and she said who took it, and then they start really arguing.
She lost it.
That's not how. No, we find out what happens to it later. But
they argue about the map. They decide to follow the creek. Just pick something and do it. If you just pick something and do it, they're probably fine. Well, if they pick the creek, they're probably fine. They believe the people will look for them when they don't come back. If I ever say that to anyone, note to self, I'm doomed.
Why? You don't think people will look for you?
Well, they might, but do they know where to look? Probably not. Then I wrote they're getting slap happy, question mark.
Heather? Yeah, Heather fell in the... Mike falls in the creek, and then Heather falls kind of in the creek too, and she's pissed because her feet are wet, and everybody's laughing because they're getting slap happy at this point.
Heather again questions them about the map, and then Mike admits to kicking the map into the creek.
So the map was useless. They couldn't use it. And then everybody gets fired up about that.
Yeah. They fight. Mike tries to apologize. Then Josh begins doubting Heather.
She admits that they're lost, I think.
But they had agreed to keep going south, I wrote, using her compass. Probably better off just following the creek. But anyway, then they find voodoo stuff, stick figures hanging from trees. They try to get Heather to stop filming, Joshua and Mike. They just want to leave. And then Mike begins yelling for help, repeatedly.
Yeah, again, this would be me.
Heather admits they are lost and she does not know what to do. They make camp again. This is the third night, right? They agree not to light a fire because they are afraid it draws whatever it is out there in.
Yeah, the first night they didn't really hear anything and they didn't light a fire.
No, you need to light a fire to keep things out. That's why you light a fire. In the middle of the night, they hear noises, including children laughing.
Yeah,
they get out of their tents and run away, Karen.
But does something brush up against the tent? Is it the kids running up against the tent or something? It was hard to tell.
I did not see that.
A lot
but
of it
I wasn't
is in
watching
the dark.
a lot because it's.
I think something brushes up against.
Sick.
It brushes up against the tent. I think that's why they run out of the tent.
Then they turn all their flashlights off as they're running through the woods, I guess. They hide out in the woods till sun comes up, and then they make their way back to the camp. Camp is ransacked. Heather keeps filming. The others are ready to stop and just get out. They tell Heather to stop filming again. They try to make their way out. Josh begins freaking out. Mike's Mike tries to reason with Heather.
Just give
Josh,
him some space. Like Josh needs a moment because is this where he finds out his stuff is slimed?
yeah, he wonders why his stuff was targeted.
Yeah, so there's some sort of slime on his stuff, on his backpack, and he starts to freak out, like, why only my stuff? And he's doing a little freak out, and Heather's like, come on, let's just go. And Mike's like, just give him a minute. He's like losing it right now.
And then we have them singing America the Beautiful and the national anthem.
Because she says
Because they're very
America,
patriotic.
because she says that America has burned through all its natural resources. So here, America the Beautiful is a
So
patriot.
what generation do you think Heather is? Is she like a Gen Z or a millennial? Or
I think she's a Gen X.
I don't think she's a Gen
I
X.
think they all are.
We would
Well,
never say that about America, would we, Karen?
that they burn through their natural resources? Of course, well, we wouldn't. America the Beautiful is a patriotic song inspired by a poem written by Catherine Lee Bates after she visited Pikes Peak in Colorado. The poem, originally titled America, was first published in 1895 and later set to the music of Samuel A. Ward's hymn, Materna. The song as we know it today combines Bates' evocative lyrics with Ward's melody.
They realize they're walking in circles. Heather tries to convince herself that it is not the same log they crossed the stream earlier with, but it obviously is.
Yeah, Mike loses it because he knows it's the same log, and Heather is saying, no, it's not, it's not, it's not, it's not. And then she's starting to cry because she's realizing it is the same log. And she's like, we walked south all day. How can we be walked in a circle?
So then Heather tells them they walked south all day long, and she does not know how they ended up back in the same spot. They fight some more. Michael tries to get them to stop. Josh makes Heather cry. Heather begs him to stop. Josh being a dick, I wrote. They make camp again. This is fourth night. And then they decide to take turns keeping watch, even though we don't really see them taking turns. But
No, Mike says he'll do first watch.
next morning, Josh is missing. They yell for him. Mike wants to go find him. And I wrote, they can't even find the car. How are they going to find Josh? They break camp.
They're freaking out, screaming for Josh.
Mike wants to head east because the Wicked Witch of the West was the bad one, Karen.
Yes, it's good. That's good logic right
Yeah,
there.
as good as any. Just pick a direction and go. But they would have been best to follow the creek. So, whatever. They make camp again.
Yeah, so we don't see a lot of filming, and then we just see them making
This is the
camp
fifth
again.
night now.
Yeah.
They talk about food. They're all getting hungry, or the two of them that are left.
Yeah. Talking about mom's mashed potatoes.
That night, they hear Josh scream. They yell for him. Josh yells for help. They yell for Josh to tell them where he is. Next morning, Heather finds some twigs tied with Josh's shirt.
Outside their tent. Yeah.
But most importantly, Mike finds some cigarettes in the bottom of his pack, Karen.
Well, the twigs are tied with pieces of his shirt, and there's also a tooth in there, a bloody tooth.
Well, the next thing I have is Heather unties the bundle of sticks, and there's blood, a tongue, and a finger.
Oh, I thought it was a tooth.
But she doesn't tell Mike. Heather washes her hands of the blood in the stream and puts gloves on. She's kind of freaking out a little bit.
Well, yeah.
And she's tired and hungry. So
She just saw, well, I thought it was a tooth, but you say it's a tongue and a
I saw a tongue
finger.
and a finger. And there probably is a tooth in there too, but how could you not see the tongue and the finger?
I don't know. Maybe I was writing as it was on the screen.
They again begin hiking out of the woods. And then we have a scene of Mike eating a leaf, a dried up leaf. Heather records herself next, apologizing to their families for putting them in this predicament. She admits she was naive. She takes full responsibility. She tells her parents that she loves them.
It was interesting. One thing I like that she says, we're cold, hungry, and hunted. thought that was a pretty good line. If they really did ad lib all this stuff, that was a good one.
That night, they hear Josh calling to them again. They try following his voice. They arrive at a house. They
Abandoned.
investigate the
It's in
house.
the woods, yeah, and it's not in good shape. Abandoned.
They hear Josh yell for them. They go upstairs. Handprints of children on the walls as they're
Yeah, so she's
going up the
filming the whole
stairs.
time. Yeah.
They get up there, and then Mike thinks he hears Josh's voice coming from downstairs. So he runs away, leaving Heather. Heather screams in the background because we're seeing Mike's footage now. Mike runs down to the cellar or whatever, and then the camera drops, and no more from Mike. Heather heads downstairs. She sees a figure on camera. We see a figure on camera.
It's Mike
It's a dude,
standing in the corner. It's Mike.
but it has his back to us. I don't know who it is.
Well, it's short and squat, dark-haired Mike. It's Mike.
I don't know. He has his back to the camera. I don't know who it is.
It's Mike.
That's what I wrote. Her camera drops, fade to black, the end.
What we should say, so I say it's Mike, but you say whoever's standing in the corner, facing towards the wall.
Yeah,
And
his
when
back
they
is
were
to the
interviewing one of the
camera. And it's
townspeople
night vision
about,
because it's the black and white camera.
okay, when she was interviewing someone from town and they were talking to about Rustin, what's his name, Parr?
Par.
When he killed the kids, he would take them down in pairs and he would have one stand in the corner facing away so
Wow.
that the child wouldn't watch him kill the other child. So that now Mike or whoever that was in the corner
Very-
was turned away. So it's
very
repeating
subtle.
that.
Didn't catch that. Did you catch that on the first watch, Karen?
I did.
I didn't.
It's the creepiest part of the whole film.
Probably because I wasn't watching because I was sick to my stomach.
That's a possibility.
It's a probability, Karen. So yeah, it's
Ambiguous
it's
at
80
the end.
minutes, but
Yeah.
the film is 80 minutes. It's fine.
When did you start to get sick? Right away or halfway through or you don't know?
Yeah, about halfway or three quarters. Yeah. Because it's cutting back and forth and they're running through woods and like,
I think, yeah, it
God.
keeps even though it's handheld, it's interviews and things like that. And then once it's running through the woods over and over and over and over, I think it starts to get to you because it's just that's all you kind of see.
But it's effective. I made my own camera stabilizer, so I know you can. It's very heavy, so I could see why they wouldn't want to take that out in the woods.
I don't think they expected to be running, although maybe they should have.
But running makes it more effective, as we've learned. Right, what did you think of the Black-Eyed Stickman cocktail, Karen?
It's surprisingly good. A little bourbon forward,
It is. It is a little liquor forward because
but the elderflower or the lemon.
people, can we just do 1 ounce or 1.5 ounce? Do we need to do 1.25 or 3/4 or quarters? Just pick one. Because I end up doing one and a
It's a
half ounces
guesstimate.
anyway.
It's a guesstimate, you know. It's actually much better than I thought it would be. I think the
Yeah, it's pretty
elderflower kind of chills the bourbon a bit, like takes a little of the edge
A
off.
little bit. I could see that. I'm sure the garnish added nothing except for the name.
It's a cool looking garnish, though.
But yeah,
I could see if you were having a party or it was a bar or whatever, I think that would make it effective.
it would. But I need to have those garnishes ready so I just put them in.
I know.
Like, we're the Blair Witch bar. We got these garnishes ready to go. Yeah, it's good. I mean, mine evaporated some time ago. Anything we learned today, Karen?
We learned
Not
about
not a lot, I don't think.
no Gilligan's Island,
Well,
America.
who
the
doesn't know
Beautiful.
about Gilligan's Island?
I bet my kids don't. America the Beautiful.
Is that good mothering?
No, Burkittsville. It's not on anymore.
Not anywhere?
Well, I
I'm
haven't
sure you can
searched.
find it
I
somewhere.
haven't searched for
Streaming.
it. Maybe Nick at Night or something. Remember they used to put the old. There wasn't a lot to learn in there. There's not a lot in it, unless you wanted to talk about VHS cameras or something. I don't really.
VHSCs. Beta. Yeah, when was this footage found? I mean,
Year after.
oh, just a year.
Yeah.
So scientifically, maybe the film did not disintegrate in a year.
No, it's probably in the house.
Yeah, obviously it was. Unless some animal carried the cameras outside. All right. So we just learned about Burkittsville and Gilligan's Island is all I wrote.
America the Beautiful. And who's the
No.
better camper? You can put that.
I don't think anyone will be surprised about that, Karen. Anyone you need to thank today?
Well, we need to thank our listener. There's a lot of podcasts out there. Thank you for spending time with us. What about you, Greg? Who do you need to thank?
Well, ironically enough, I need to thank our listeners in the UK across the pond, Karen.
Nice.
So thank you. And of course, the band Verse 13 for providing all the music in the Scary Spirits podcast.
The music definitely makes the podcast better.
Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. Want to keep in touch? Check out our website, scaryspirits.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Find us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. To help us grow the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You know, we really do appreciate your support. And as always, please drink responsibly.